Hi, I'm Garrett Marcantel from HBO Max's 12 Dates of Christmas, and I'm excited to chat with Elias here on Man Cave Chronicles.
Welcome to another episode of the Man Cave Chronicles.
Welcome to the party, pal!
You're my boy, Blue!
Yo, Adrian!
A podcast with interviews of amazing guests from the world of pop culture.
Oh, yeah!
TV.
Nice!
Movies.
Oh, I love the movies!
Comedy and more. From deep inside the Man Cave, your host, Elias.
Garrett, welcome to the cave.
Hello, how's it going?
How are you? Good. How are you, my friend?
I'm really good, and I'm really excited for the holidays and for 12 Dates to come out.
I know it's huge. Let's talk a little about that. We'll talk about first. How did the whole quarantine thing treat you? I like asking my guests that.
Thanks for asking. So I wrapped 12 Dates early March and was expecting to go back to my full-time job in New York City. And that didn't happen. So it was March 16th, and it was like kind of the day, that's like the coronavirus day, I think. And, across the board, it was like all of my friends and coworkers, we were like, what are we going to do? And so I decided to go home to spend time with my family in Louisiana. So I flew back to Lake Charles, Louisiana, and I spent 2 months, moved back in with my mom and my little brother. And when I moved away, my brother was 5, and now he is 19. So it was like really cool to have that moment with both of them.
Wow. What did you do for the 2 months? Or did you still work remotely? What was the...
Yeah, so I work in real estate, and as you can imagine, real estate in New York was
right.
going in, but it was a real good time to be on the buy side. So I was working with a few clients, trying to find some good deals for them. So I was doing that remote, and then also like trying to make my plan for what's next, and just this uncomfortable like not knowing what's next. But yeah, and also I spent a lot of time out in nature. I think something really special about Louisiana is that we have the swamplands there, and so my family and we would go out every weekend, and we'd go to little different hikes, and we'd go fishing, and really just enjoy the culture that I was raised in.
Wow. Now, growing up in Louisiana, like, how did you know that you were going to get into real estate? What made you? That's a big move, going from Louisiana to like New York City. Not a lot of people do things like that.
It was definitely progressive. Like I didn't kind of like overnight like think when I'm gonna go live in New York City and sell real estate. It was more of like I was always just kind of a curious kid. And so when I graduated high school, I moved out west to go to the University of Utah in Salt Lake City because I wanted to explore the mountains, and I wanted to ski while I got my degree. And so, I actually was a park ranger at first. And so for 3 summers, I worked for Yellowstone National Park, a cave system in Utah, and the Grand Canyon area. So I spent a lot of time outdoors, and I remember there was a point where I was getting a little frustrated that I didn't have like this full-time job opportunity, and I didn't really know much about business. So I kind of took a risk, and I applied for a job based in New York City because it scared me. It was just the unknown for me, and before I knew it, I was living there full time, and
Wow.
And the rest is history.
So that's awesome, man. So how did you? Let's talk about 12 Dates of Christmas. It's going to premiere at HBO Max. Thanksgiving, no, day after Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving Day.
Thanksgiving
November
Day. That's
25th.
right.
Yeah.
So, first of all, how exciting was this for you?
I mean, okay, so I'm definitely an adventurous type of person, and I love taking risks. And this is by far probably the biggest one I've ever done. I've gone skydiving, and this was definitely like somewhere comparable to that. Like I didn't fully know how big this was going to be. I mean, I pulled up. I was told it was Austria only one day before I got on the plane, so I didn't even know where I was going. I just knew that I was going on a Christmas Christmas dating show. And I was told also a day before that I was going to be the lead. So I was like, oh, okay, great. Let's do this. So I get on the plane, I land in Austria, and I pull up into this like real castle. And, and it's not like it's a movie set. Like this is like a real actual historical castle. And I'm moving into it. And I have my view of another castle on the side of the mountain. And in the other window is a view of the Alps. So I'm like, okay, this is real. This is real talk.
How did you get involved with this? And like, how did you get picked? What was the process of this?
I had someone reach out to me on Instagram, to be honest. And
wow.
And at first I was like, okay, Christmas dating show. This girl definitely thinks I'm straight. And so I told her, I was like, hey, I think you've got the wrong guy. I'm actually gay. She goes, no, we're going to have gays in this show. And I was like, wait, what? Really? So I was like, all right, great, let's do it. And so it became like a Skype, which then was another Skype. And then before I knew it, I was in Los Angeles and I was meeting the executives of the show.
Wow. How long, when did it start? When did you start filming this?
So we started early February. That's when I got to Austria, and then we wrapped early March. So I was in Austria for a little over a month. And, it's kind of funny because when I left, the world was normal. Right. And, when we're in this experience, we're not really connected to the outside world. And then when we flew back to the States, that's when we really saw kind of what was unfolding. And so thankfully we were able to finish all of the filming just before COVID really took effect.
When you told your family you were going to go away for almost 2 months on a dating show, what was the reaction?
My mom was like, go find someone. I'm tired of you being single. So yeah, I mean, honestly, they're super supportive. And that's the best feeling going into something like this, knowing that your family has your back.
For the listeners, tell them really quick, what the show is about.
You have 3 leads, a straight girl, a straight guy, and a gay guy. So it's me, Chad, and Faith, and we're on a quest to find love and to find someone to bring home for Christmas. And we are in this castle, a magical Christmas castle, and we have these different dates, and we'll have these. They're all blind dates, so we don't know when these dates are arriving. Or how they're arriving. But when they show up, they're in the castle. And then once we have a few dates of our own in the castle, we have to make a decision. And then we have an elimination process. And then another one kind of shows up and the process continues. So it's kind of maybe what you've seen recently within reality shows, but also a bit different. And so in my head, I'm thinking okay, well, in this show they did this, but the rules did not apply here.
I mentioned to you, earlier before we went on the air, I watched 3 episodes. How nerve-wracking was this for you? The decisions that you had to make.
I mean, stakes are high, know, and I think, the hardest thing was, being true to myself and also being fair to everyone in the castle, because it's you're meeting a stranger for the first time, and you're in this intense situation with cameras and lights and these romantic settings, and you're in this Christmas castle, and it's you have to constantly just focus and stay grounded and check yourself. So it was definitely something that I never had to really experience before, but it taught me a lot.
Were there any rules you had to follow while you lived in the castle?
Yes. No cell phones.
I figured.
Yeah. And no TV. So, I spent a lot of time sleeping when I wasn't filming. These are real long days. And then I would I would have an hour break or so And I would just go into my room and just like pass out. And then, like we want most of the experience to happen like on camera. So we don't really get much interaction time with the other dates. So mostly what you see on TV, like that's real time.
Wow. How was it living with Faith and Chad? And like, first answer that. Like, how was it living with them two? And then, because then I noticed throughout the episodes that I watched, other people were getting added on to the show before they got eliminated.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I would have done without Faith and Chad. I mean, these two, they're amazing. And we started this journey together, and we ended the journey together, and it was something like really special because we all grew and we all helped each other. Like they would have my back and my eyes when I couldn't be in a situation, and so we would have these conversations before elimination, and I trusted their judgment and they trusted mine, and through that we got really close.
So, and now the second part of that question was like, and how did it feel like, like you were going on dates and all of a sudden somebody else would show up? Like, what was your reaction? What was going through your head with stuff like that?
I'm like, oh my God.
Because like some of them were funny, what I saw.
I mean, it's kind of funny because, it's like, you're never really in a real life situation where you're like dating multiple people. And then I'm in a situation where I literally have like 2 dates. I'm like, hi guys. But I think like, that's what's interesting is you're put in this environment and I'm able to see how my dates respond. And it's actually, I think, a good thing, because I think I learned a lot more about that person quicker.
Yeah, makes sense. What were like some of the things that you did on the show that you enjoyed, like for like date wise? I know there was a couple, like, you went on skiing and there's all this other stuff you could have done out there. What was like some of your most ones you enjoyed?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big winter sport enthusiast. So like my favorite thing definitely is skiing. So, but I did have one date where I was snowboarding and, I don't take myself too seriously, to be honest. And I ate shit quite a few times on that. And it was just so fun because like you're watching the camera crew like just eat it up. And like me and my date are like just struggling and like on our ass the whole time. Because I'm a good skier, but snowboarding is like a whole different thing. But like when I look back at it, it was probably one of the more fun experiences.
Would you ever do something like this again, a reality show?
I mean, let me roll this one out first. But I learned a lot about myself, and it's definitely like an interesting way to get to know a lot of other people too. And like it's I'm forever thankful for this experience, and you're gonna see why.
Have you kept in touch with Chad and Faith since you guys into this?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's also like we started this journey where like life was normal, and then we go through this like really, interesting, bizarre, not normal experience together, and then we come back into the world where it's like also it's changed. And so like there's not many people that can relate to what we've gone through. And so like I've definitely used them a lot, and we've helped each other throughout this year.
Now this is going to premiere. We mentioned it's going to premiere on Thanksgiving Day. The first 3 episodes. How many episodes was it filmed total?
Yeah, 8 episodes total. So we have the first 3 launching on November 26th, Thanksgiving Day, and then December 3rd we have 3 more, and then December 10th we'll have the last 2 drop.
Garrett, is there anything else you want to tell the listeners before we end this?
Happy holidays, and keep the end goal in mind, and let's all wear masks and let's all be considerate of everyone so we can get back to normal life as quick as possible. And happy holidays.
Garrett, lastly, how can the listeners find you on social media?
Garrett.Marcantel. And Garrett's with 2 R's and 2 T's.
Garrett, this was fun. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's nice chatting with you.
That's a wrap. That's a wrap, everybody. That's a wrap.
Thanks for listening to the Man Cave Chronicles podcast.
I finally get my man cave.
You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at the MCC Podcast and our website, themccpodcast.com. Until next time.